stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. This is episode number 434 of a show where we co-create life together, where you join me with my family on our small farm and homestead as we grow all around. And first of all, I can't believe it's October already. And moreover, October 3rd. And even though we are right in the middle and approaching my favorite season, it's also historically been a very busy time of year. Historically doesn't necessarily apply anymore. Well, at least in the same way, because life is changing. You see, I've written and rewritten my life several times at this point, and in my mid-40s, I'm in the process of doing that again. And this show is a large part of that process. And as a matter of fact, we just passed the 2-year anniversary of the show. And we'll be talking about that more in an episode later this week. So, speaking of this week, what can we expect this week? Well, today we've got the Farmers Market recap. Tomorrow, we've got the October newsletter from York Meadow Farm that we're going to cover. Wednesday, we're going to do a Farmers Market recap on the Tremont Market alone, which is going to take place Tuesday afternoon. On Thursday, episode number 437, we're going to highlight my parents' 49th anniversary. The founders of York Meadow Farms celebrate their 49th anniversary on Thursday, October 6th. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, maybe see if I can't rehash the interview I did with them, thanks to a little bit of remastering by Nikki P out there. Thank you, Nick. It's actually a good idea I hadn't previously thought of, so I'm going to see if I can't make that happen. And that also brings to mind Cody has agreed to do an interview with me, so we're going to figure out how to do this, even if it means taping this silly little lapel mic up on a tripod and sitting around cross-legged with this thing in between us, just having a conversation like a couple of weirdos. That would be completely appropriate, because that's exactly what goes on most of the time here. We would just stick a mic in an incognito location, because I'm not really equipped to do anything fancy here. And you know what? He's not a fancy guy, and he is okay with that. So we talked about that. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll do this 49th anniversary of the founders. I'll see if I can't remaster, remix with my limited editing abilities the interview there. We'll do another interview with Cody, and then I'm going to open up the doors to interviews to bring on other people onto the show, people that are doing things that I think are interesting, things that I think are applicable to the show, and we're going to mix it up and continue adding variety to the show to expand and grow, all around. And then Friday, we're going to wrap up the week covering the 2-year anniversary of the show and kind of talk about all kinds of things, where we've come from, where we are now, where we're going. Maybe look at a little bit of the statistics, since I don't do that very frequently. See if we can get an assessment of, the audience out there, where you guys are from, and just talk about the show. So that's what we've got in store for this week. So without any further jibber jabber, let's get into the Farmers Market recap episode because we've got a lot to cover today, all right? So let me wet my whistle with a little more coffee and let's go. Now, last week we began the week with our first appearance at the Tremont Farmers Market. And this market is on Tuesday afternoons from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Tremont. And this is a cool market because, well, according to Google, Artie Residential Tremont has gourmet sandwich bars and craft coffee shops amid restored Victorian homes with hip galleries showcasing local talent and boutiques stocking clothes by edgy young designers. Local landmarks include the striking Slavic-style church, St. Theodosius Russian Orthodox Cathedral, and a museum dedicated to the 1980s movie A Christmas Story House. That's right. That is the neighborhood where this market takes place, up in the big city, and basically every Tuesday from May 17th until October 12th, you can get fresh produce, baked goods, honey jams, handcrafted foods, and art from local farmers, producers, and artists. Now, prior discussion with Cody, who's been attending this market for 7 years now, which is kind of weird as we both just remarked on that, talking about it, indicated that this would be a very different demographic than that which we have been accustomed to here at the Medina Farmers Market. It was. And it was awesome. It's very cool up there. I spent some time in Tremont as a younger kid in my 20s when I was back home because there are a lot of cool coffee shops. Back then you could even this was in high school and before, I guess, early college days. Back home on break, we would go and hang out and smoke in the coffee shops. You know, back when you could and things were different. But things are different now. And you know what? 20 years from now, things are going to be different. So the only constant in life is change, my friends. But it was a cool scene up there. And for a first day at a new market, we had a great experience. And this was actually like my first experience rolling solo at a market. I packed up, I went up there. I mean, I coordinated with the market manager, and this was kind of, in addition to the online store, me being proactive and growing this business and trying to reach new markets. So it was kind of cool for me to be up there on my own, and quite honestly, it was a little nervous. I was a little nervous going up there, but it was a little bit of a relief because Cody was going to be there, and you know, it wasn't that scary, okay? But after the market with Cody, okay, like it even rained a little bit towards the end. But one of the vendors across the way from me, who was set up this Egyptian woman and her daughter, who was probably in her mid-late 20s. Her mom came, helped her set up, came back, helped her break down. But she had baked goods, all kinds of just cool stuff, different pastries, baklavas, whatever, man. Rad. She came over and said, wow, you guys were pretty busy for your first market. And like, this was not really a busy day, but I didn't really know what to expect. I had, anyways, I'll get to that in a minute. But talking with Cody later in the week, he said that there were like half the vendors about half of the vendors that normally were there were present on Tuesday. You said it was one of maybe the slowest markets of the season there, which leads me to believe there's a lot of potential for this market in the 2023 season simply because of the different demographics in Tremont. The younger crowd, the more hip crowd, they appear to have a better understanding of fermented foods and moreover desire that. And with no one up there moving that kind of product, my expectations for sales, which again, I didn't really have any, but when we came home and tallied everything up, exceeded my expectations. Exceeded everyone's expectations, quite frankly, and that made everyone here on the farm very happy. All right, so that was the Tremont market on Tuesday, and on Saturday we had the Medina Farmers Market on the square, which, all these farmers markets are coming to a close. And like I've said before, the Medina Farmers Market is located on the historic Medina Square. And right now, at the end of the season, we are on Broadway Street, right in front of the county courthouse there, the historic county courthouse. And normally we're on the square itself, like lined up by the gazebo and all these different paths on the grass. But honestly, when we're on the street, it's better. The flow is better. Sales are better. I hope that we can stay on the street, but that's a whole nother story. But, again, after Labor Day, coming to a close of the season, it's a little bit slower, but we still had a good day. Sales were okay, but in addition to the sales, it was a good day because John from Ohio City Pasta came over and hooked me up with a little spicy lime cilantro pasta, and I offered him some whatever he wanted, but he said he's still good with what he's got, so he just wanted to hook me up with some goodies. And John's a rad guy. I never really knew how good pasta could be until I ate some of his, and my God, it's the best. I've been raving about it for the past few weeks now. I don't know. It's amazing. It's very, very good stuff, and it's cool that with all the locations where he is present at market, that he chooses to come down to the Medina market. So that's cool. And also worth noting is, George, Cowboy George from Blaze Gourmet. I don't know, a few weeks ago, I gave him a bottle of jalapeno cilantro brine. And, also like John, George with Blaze, he's at a number of different markets, but he chooses to come down here to this market on the square. Well, he's got his other employees managing other markets, but it's cool to see these guys and their companies, representing their companies right here with us and in Medina. But anyways, a few weeks ago, gave him a bottle of this jalapeno cilantro brine and just said, here, have some fun with it. Somebody said they mixed it with some Bloody Marys, said it was good. You make a Bloody Mary mix. I don't know. Let me know what you think. See what you can do. And when I gave it to him, he mentioned something about, oh yeah, like there's Bloody Mary bars, and he's seen pickle brines, and I didn't know Bloody Mary bars were a thing. I presume they're kind of like these guacamole bars that you can go around or they make them with the stuff you point out. I don't know, but this is how it works. And apparently the jalapeno cilantro brine was a hit. And on Saturday he came back and he just said, hey, this is good stuff. I'd like to get a couple cases of it. I was like, all right, well, I was like, I got these bottles right here, right now. I'll set them aside for you. And then we kind of explained the process of how brine is generated, which is basically a byproduct of the sauerkraut that we make, and kind of explained like how much comes out of each batch and so on and so forth. And I mean, basically he was there manning the booth by himself. So he you know, it was a brief conversation, but he basically said, all right, you know, I'll just take everything you can make. So I'm stoked on that. I'm stoked on these new relationships that are being built. And, you know, that's really what this is all about. Life, you know, growth, relationships in all aspects. In these all of these aspects of life. Physical, financial, personal development, family, spiritual, social, career, right? We flourish in these aspects of life when we cultivate the relationships that we build. Speaking of relationships, I'm excited to be building a relationship with Yosik, who again stopped down with his girlfriend or significant other to pick up some goodies from local vendors on the square, stopped by our booth again, and we were able to chat. And it's awesome. It's awesome to connect with you in real life. And it's awesome to connect with people in real life. And, you know, this past weekend, there was a lot of connection taking place at the Self-Reliance Festival. A lot of stories floating around within all of our shared networks online, especially in Telegram. I'm seeing a lot of stories being shared about new relationships being formed at this event, old relationships being strengthened at this event. And if you're not familiar with what this event is, I'll link to it in the show notes, but briefly, the Self-Reliance Festival at Special Operations Equipment gives you a close-up view of both strategic and tactical skills. The many thorough practical demonstrations include emergency medical training, aquaponics, defense dogs, canning, blacksmithing, spinning, and permaculture design. This is an awesome event. I've just been hearing about this from so many people, because so many people in our communities did present there, because this event took place Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to link to this in the show notes. I would encourage you to check it out. And, you know, if these kinds of things are your thing, and you know what, even if that's not your thing, the importance of cultivating relationships in whatever your particular thing is critical to all-around growth, right? And personally, I look forward to attending this event in the future, either as an attendee or presenting about fermentation, because I think food fermentation and the skills to be able to preserve the things that either you grow or the things that your community grows, to be able to help them out, that's important. So, you know, we'll see what the future has in store and what we can make happen as a community. So speaking of community and the markets that we are already involved in, we were also recently invited to a new market on Sundays. And during the month of October, Richardson Farms is hosting the second annual Fall Vendor Fest series. Last year they did the first. And what this is an event where you can join everyone on the farm for a fun day of shopping, food, and fall festivities. The vendors cover a vast variety of products, from bakery to clothing, dog treats to bath and body products, crochet items to woodworking, and much more, including our fermented foods. the farm will be full of mums, pumpkins, and fall decorations, all that stuff. Corn stalks, anything you want. They also have hay rides to the pumpkin patch, multiple pumpkin patches. Basically, you pay for a hay ride. You can get as big of a pumpkin as you can carry. And some people were, really pushing it with some of these pumpkins. There are some biggins out there in the field. So, every Sunday from 11 to 4, we are set up there. And hay rides are taking place. All sorts of stuff is going on. So yesterday, Dad and I packed up the truck and headed to Richardson's around, I guess we left around 9:45, and we got there around 10 a.m. to set up. And, for a first event, first thing in October, like this new event, the second annual Fall Vendor Fest, I don't know. We really weren't expecting much. But, I was kind of surprised because there was a really pretty steady flow of traffic coming in. Families coming in, hay rides, walking the orchards. I mean, Richardson's has a really cool place. It's a 6th generation family farm that's, and I knew Bill through the Medina Oddfellows, and then met Ben through the Oddfellows, and then further involvement with the Farmers Market got me to know Stephanie, Ben's wife, better, and we are getting to know their family better. I mean, Bill is very close to and his wife are closer to my dad's age. Ben and Stephanie are closer to my age. It's cool to see them do the things that they are doing. Stephanie also recently left her job to join the farm full time, so I feel a little bit of a, kind of connection there with her. There's a lot of similar emotions and such, I suspect, that are taking place with this transition to full time on the farm, to growing our family business, leaving full-time employment and the security and comfort of that. It's a little weird, but it's awesome to see their family farm grow. It's awesome to see our family farm grow, and we are very grateful to be participating in that event that they're hosting. And again, we were surprised by what we did yesterday, and I think we're looking forward. Well, I don't think we are looking forward to the rest of the month, because talking with Bill and Ben Richardson yesterday at the end of the day, they both remarked about how slow they thought it was and how they thought the next 2 weeks, as we approach Halloween and everybody's looking to get pumpkins and more fall decorations, they suspect the next couple Sundays especially are going to be even busier. So that looks positive. So October is going to be a busy month for us, with 3 separate farmers markets, along with the online store, and we are actively coordinating winter markets in the meantime, and just hustling. And, speaking of the online store, I want to share a little story, a little learning experience, if you will. Okay, so here's the deal. We've got products listed online, and then we take many of those products to a farmer's market. Okay. So let's think about what happens if the products that we take to market that are also listed online, what happens if we sell out of those products at market but don't update the inventory online accordingly? Well, we end up selling product that we don't have. And, my friends, this is what happened last night. I realized that there was some interaction through social media with an old high school friend of mine who was commenting about how long ferments would keep. Would they keep until Christmas or New Year's unopened in the fridge? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They'll keep a long time unopened in the fridge. But, there's no, don't worry about that. We are in full production now, and I can assure you that we will have everything we have and more by that time. And she said, oh, okay, well, I'm interested in trying it now and then also buying more for the holidays for family. And so we had this interaction online, and wouldn't you know it, 5 minutes later, an order popped up with some items, one of which included some garlic dill pickles that sold at Richardson's. And I was very grateful that I know her, and she's an old high school classmate, old friend, and she was very understanding and accepting. So I'm gonna make sure that when I ship that order out today that I make it right. And that's what you've got to do if you make a mistake. She was very gracious in her understanding as we experienced some growing pains, and I'm very grateful to be in a position where I'm experiencing some of these stressors that are going along with the hustle of trying to grow and develop the business, and lessons learned on how to more effectively manage it. We will have to remove the opening inventory from market from the online inventory, and then just simply add back the closing afterwards to compensate for any sales that may or may not be made, because not more often than not, this used to happen in the past, less so now, but sometimes we still sell out of what we bring. So it's important to make those adjustments, and we definitely will be doing that in the future. But speaking of hustling and getting on with things, it's about time we get on with the day and get to hustling here on the homestead. And that really wraps up the Farmers Market Recap episode for today. Now, tomorrow we are going to have a York Meadow Farm newsletter episode where we cover the monthly newsletter, and with everything that's been going on lately, new markets and the online store and blog posts and additional emails going out, encouraging email subscribers to take advantage of the code to save. I kind of forgot that we've got these monthly emails going on too, so I need to get with Cody, get with him and get some photos and stuff for Cody's Corner, see if Mom and Dad want to cover anything in particular, and there's a lot to do today. So we're going to cover that tomorrow. On Wednesday, we will likely do a brief Farmers Market recap simply of the Tremont Farmers Market, because trying to pack in everything that takes place at the market is on one day or at the various markets that we are on, that's a lot. So we're going to break it down and just do market recaps after each market while it's still fresh on my mind, and that way we get a more comprehensive update of the whole market experience, because that's a big part of what we're doing right now. Like I said, Thursday on October 6th, we are going to revisit the interview, hopefully, with the founders that I did a couple of months ago, and we will talk about the farm, my parents, and everything else, and we'll celebrate them on October 6th. And then Friday, to close out the week, we will talk about the 2-year anniversary of the show and take a look at, like I said, take a look at where we've come from, where we've been, where we are now, look at some of the statistics, just kind of poke around, look at the show. We've got some new listeners, and not everybody has gone back in time and listened to all of the episodes. And there may be, I think Friday there may just be some free talk about some ideas that I have about the show. I don't know, so that will be interesting. And so there's a lot to get into this week. There's a lot to plan for all of the episodes that are in store. I look forward to diving into everything this week with you. And, I'm sure that you also have a busy week ahead yourself, with work, with family, with your own side hustles, with the projects that you're working on, with your homesteads, with your gardens, bringing them to a close, getting ready for winter. There's a lot going on. So, take a moment though, check out the All Around Growth group on Telegram and let us know what you're up to. t.me/allaroundgrowth from your internet browser, whatever. Just join us over there and let us know what you're up to this week, all right? So wherever you are and whatever you are doing, I hope that you have a great week. I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
In a world of pain, what can I do? The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that